Ladies and gentlemen, this world is full of narratives and agendas. And if you don't do your independent research into subjects of public interest, you will eventually be carried away by the popular opinion, and you will end up being misinformed and fighting on the wrong side of history. If genocide is what you hate and want to protest against, then you should be protesting against the systemic killings of Christians in the northern and central parts of Nigeria. And when I see African leaders talk about Israel and Palestine, I get confused when we have a lot more of such killings happening in Africa. Don't you know about the genocide happening in northern Nigeria? Don't you know of the coordinated campaign to permanently displace Christians from their ancestral lands in Nigeria? Don't you know the Fulani militants and the militias are not just killing Nigerian Christians, but clearing lands to claim them, ladies and gentlemen? Have you seen this image before? This is the picture of states in Nigeria where Sharia law is enacted. The colors in green are the Sharia state, which means the federal constitution of the Republic of Nigeria is subordinate to the Sharia law within that region. Which means in the event of perceived crime and blasphemy, they will apply the Sharia instead of the federal constitution that allows for a trial in the court of competent jurisdiction. Which also means only one religion will be permissible, which is Islam, and any other group of people that will live in that region will have to stop practicing their religion and pay a jizya, which is a form of tax, to be allowed to live. And it wouldn't make any difference whether you are an indigene or that's your ancestral home. This is what this map and the Sharia law is all about. And the target in this case has been Christians and churches. Do you know that both the federal and the state government don't give a rat's ass about what's happening to Christians in Nigeria? Let me ask you this. Is it possible you don't know all these because your TV is usually on channels that shows you wars in Europe and in the Middle East and not in Africa? Or that the social media algorithm on your phone has made it such that only videos from Palestine and Ukraine is all you see, even when our fellow black people are dying every day in the most gruesome manner in Nigeria? Islamists are chopping the heads of Nigerian Christians in the north every single day. Every day they attack families and towns in isolation in Nigeria and unalive all of them while shouting Allahu Akbar. Do you care to know more about that, or you don't? You are busy shouting and protesting for Palestine at the US summit as an African and in the major cities of the Western countries, forgetting that there is a worse genocide in slow motion in Nigeria. Already, the world doesn't care about us. African issues aren't on the minds of the Western powers. Already, they don't care for us or what happens to us except for what we have. And we here, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, many people being programmed not to care about our own selves, but protesting about what's happening elsewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, the level of misinformation and hypocrisy in the world is just overwhelming. The double standards of the West should make we, the African people, think deeply about our future. The entire UN summit forgot to say anything about what's happening in northern Nigeria, as if the people there don't matter. Meanwhile, 52,250 Nigerian Christians have been murdered since 2009 and counting, and 18,000 churches burned. More than 10,000 homes belonging to Christian families also burned down, with their farms taken over by armed herdsmen. Ladies and gentlemen, does these people, do their lives actually matter to the UN and to you as a fellow African? Everything happening points to the fact that if there isn't an immediate and a deliberate military force to fight back against these jihadist movement in Nigeria, they will continue to kill and displace all non-Muslims until they turn the entire country into an Islamic state under a Sharia law. Who is going to stand up to them when the federal government of Nigeria is looking the other way? Chaos is spreading across Nigeria from the north. The green states in the picture includes the following hotspots for Islamic jihadist attacks in Nigeria. It includes Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, Benue, Plateau, Niger, Taraba, Kaduna State, all of these states. I repeat, Borno State, Yobe State, Benue, Plateau State, Niger State, Taraba, and Kaduna. That's 8 out of the 36 states in Nigeria. The plan is to expand and conquer more states in the foreseeable future. You can only imagine the level of terror it will be in Nigeria when the number increases to every part of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely clear that the UN isn't thinking of what to do next about Nigeria. And it's also clear that AU has thrown up its hands in the air in despair. We are on our own. The Christians in the northern part and central part of Nigeria needs our help. The Nigerian government has turned a blind eye on them. The Islamic jihadist groups wants to turn the country, Nigeria, with nearly 150 million population of Christians, into an Islamic state, ladies and gentlemen. They are therefore beheading, setting churches on fire, homes on fire, burning families in their homes, and shooting at will. In the north, if you are a follower of Christ or a person who stands for human rights and care about Africa, this is the time to speak up against it until our voices are heard from all over in Africa. We must show the same support we show for what we see in the war in Palestine. This is right here with us. The media has chosen to show other things instead of the stories of this issue, even in Nigeria. The world legacy media is silent and unbothered, ladies and gentlemen. But we, the concerned people on social media, cannot sit aloof. We must speak up. Speaking up for them today may force the hand of the Nigerian government to make a move that might save a life, one person's life, a family, or a village. Therefore, don't be silent, especially not at this time, ladies and gentlemen. As black Africans, we must understand that what happens to us is up to us to deal with. Our security, our health, and economy is our priority. Nobody is coming to our aid, and therefore, we need to figure out ways to solve our problems. Like I've said in the past, this issue has the tendency of crossing borders in the next 3 years to every part of this continent if care is not taken. Remember, this thing has lingered on since the inception of Boko Haram in 2002. It has been 23 years, and in that time, ladies and gentlemen, many other factions and branches have sprung up. Today, that part of Nigeria has since become one of the world's most fertile places for breeding such terrorist groups. So speaking up and throwing a protest is not only about protecting the lives of Christians in Nigeria, but will ultimately be about protecting our own lives everywhere we are on the continent. Our national sovereignties must be protected. Our religious freedoms must be protected, and our heritage requires protection. There is only one race, ladies and gentlemen, the human race, and the free will to choose a religion and its practices is God-given. No one should be allowed to suppress it or deny anyone from exercising that right. The people of Nigeria must stand up. The government of Nigeria must do better. This is an existential threat and must therefore be met with the requisite force. The killing of Christians needs the world's attention, and everyone watching must play a role in making this happen, ladies and gentlemen. This push must continue until it stops. In my heart of hearts, ladies and gentlemen, I know Nigeria will be great. I only look forward to that day when that one leader shows up on the scene. That day is all I wait for. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm Cyrus, and this is Tuntum Network in Accra, Ghana. Be sure to subscribe and click on the bell for more. It is bye-bye for now.